Take 7. Let's try to do these as quickly as possible. Number 5. Stop digital downloads. Reduce your price. Number 4. Reduce the amount of issues per series. Lower the amount of issues per series released down to once a month, except as fire books. Number 3. Leave the Ultimate Universe alone more than 2 years. Wait like 3 to 5 years before doing a crossover. Okay? Because even after this, you need a heck of a lot more time than 2 freaking years. Number 2. Stop company-wide crossovers, because all it does is make things so confusing and dry, and you just want more money. Okay? Because some of the crossovers that you turn on in the last few years have been god-awful. Like Chaos War. I mean, Chaos War had barely an impact in the Marvel Universe. What about Siege? Barely an impact. You just took no one else on that power. I mean, all Siege was basically wrapping up everything that's been going on since Avengers Assembled. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Then you have Avengers vs. X-Men less than 2 years later, wrapping up pretty much everything that's been going on since House of M. Okay. You end all these little storylines that's been going on for about 2 or 3 years, and that's a good thing. I don't have much of a problem with that, but you don't need to have another crossover to wrap it up. Have it wrapped up in a few short-ish, have small crossovers. Don't do big, humongous ones, like Avengers vs. X-Men. A lot of people don't really like that crossover because Charles Xavier dies in the second last issue of the series. Okay? Alright? And that's it. And the number one thing you can do, stop renumbering your comics, stop restarting your comics back to number 1 just because you're obsessed with the number. You need to drop your obsession, because every single time you do this, guess what you do? You're closer and closer to facing bankruptcy. Because no one's buying your freaking comics if you keep relaunch back number 1. Does any of the indie companies do this? Dark Horse does it occasionally with 1 or 2 of their titles. But not always. Does Image? Very rarely. IDW doesn't do this at all. Hardly. It's very rarely. DC Comics didn't do this that much. No, they never did. Also, stop canceling good titles like Fearless Defenders. Keep it going. Okay? It's a good series. That along with series like Venom, Scarlet Spider. Stop canceling good titles. If you have a title basically people hate, okay, like for example, prior to right now where Avengers is doing okay, if the title was doing bad, that means it's the writer's fault. He's writing bad stories, and the best way you can save a title is to change the writer. If the series is going good, keep the writer on the title, keep the numbering going, don't relaunch it, just keep it the way it is. For example, of a bad story that needs changing. Wolverine without a healing factor. That needs to stop. Because I've checked the solicits by issue 7 this current volume. This storyline is still ongoing for almost 20 straight issues. I have never seen one single storyline from one single series last this long. I mean, you have the storyline lasting longer than the frickin' Death of Captain America story. That was 18 issues. But it was split in 3 chapters. That's fine. Wolverine's done one of these cross-title stories before. It's called Enemy of State. Okay? You need to stop relaunching series. Okay? Here's what you do. If you want to save the title, you figure out why the title is not selling very well before you decide to relaunch it. Okay? And don't relaunch it. If people hate the writing of a title, replace the writer. If people hate the artwork, replace the frickin' artist. One good example of this. Captain Marvel. Since issue 13, For 4 straight issues, it has suffered from bad artwork. Okay, you should listen to the critics of the comics. People who are criticizing your titles. Oh, also another thing. And even I've noticed this as well. You need to go back to your old printer because your current printer sucks. Because I have seen it where people actually complain it where the ink is not working very good on the covers. And they're wearing off people's fingertips. Okay? That's another thing you can do with that's the other gripe. It's not really a big gripe, but I put it there anyways. You need to change your printer, go back to your old printer, and first you need to shut down the current printer, figure out what's wrong, and while it's doing that, go back to the old printer to print your comics. Okay? That will solve a heck of a lot of problems. That will stop all the complaints about the covers. The covers may look good, but once you touch them, the ink falls right in your hands. I've seen this a lot with some. I've seen this a lot with some of the comics I picked up from Marvel Comics. If I hold my hand for more than maybe 10, 20 minutes, the ink starts falling right in my hands, and the picture gets smeared. Beautiful looking picture, and it gets smeared because of the dumb printer. Okay. All right. That is it. That's all my piece. All right. All right. So. Anybody watching this video, please recommend people watch this video, and also recommend the Marvel Comics to watch this video, because my suggestions will improve their business. But Marvel just ignore their fans. Okay? But these grievances are good. Alright? I'll probably do another video soon. Probably another countdown to have DC improve their business practices. Okay? That's all I can say. That's it. Alright? Bye.